3, 2, 1. We are live. If you go up to the loft today, you're sure of a big surprise. If you go up to the loft today, you'll never believe your eyes. For every train there ever was has gathered there together, because today's the day that Jenny does the Monday Club. Yay!
Oh, you defeated my defences. No, you can't have that. Oh no!
Aha! The bar is mine.
I have tasted my own medicine, and it is bitter.
Green.
Oh, careful there.
You nearly knocked me down the stairs, you horrible, horrible woman of horribleness.
I'm not horrible. I'm lovely.
When?
So big hello to everybody. We've got loads of people in the chat. I said, whoa, gosh, that's like going. So Ruben Ashwell, Brian Bell, Flymer Chairman 1, Stevie Film, Patrick Ling, Simon the Railway Enthusiast 83, Simon Trade's Mother Over Showcase, Tim Davies, Dominic Zed, Belmont Junction, Peter Jackson, J. Paul Anderson, Valleys 56XX, Malcolm Moore, Wamgok, Nigel Cole, Vobert Becking, Thomas West, Blackpool Steve, B2000RO Toys Channel, Iron Horse Railway, Skipsy Trains, Josh's Railway Adventures, Harry Sedgwick, Logan Clary, Southern Train Curl, Stefan Svensson, Egg Rider, Jamie Smith, Ben Tullett, Richard Swiderski. A big hello to all of you and anybody whose names I have managed to miss. Gosh, everything's just like going off the top. Now, it's great to see you. I know I didn't make it last week. I was just utterly exhausted. We had a long drive from Alexandra Palace, and we came back actually on the Monday. And the reason for that was because it's a long drive. We've done a full day at the show. And we're also with KR Models, so big up to KR Models and the crew.
Sorry, does that mean that you were more tired because you were with KR Models, or is that just an aside, like you were there with them as well?
No, we helped them by driving the van. So also had to help them break down their stand, load everything up. It was actually quite rushed at the end. I wasn't feeling particularly well either. I'd come down with some kind of mild food poisoning over the course of the weekend.
That's what happens when you spend your entire time eating at Kent Fried Rat.
Oh, stop it. But certainly had a great time. Really enjoyed meeting so many of you guys. Now, I've got a full pickups video as well because I was very naughty and bought lots of stuff. Not as bad as Les. And I know that Les's other half doesn't watch this, so I can say, 1,100 quid, Les? What are you doing? You're making me look cheap.
Is he allowed to sleep in the house again yet?
Yeah, Les, yeah. Are you allowed to sleep in your own bed yet, Les?
Have you been let out the doghouse yet?
Yeah. I think the dog will have words to say about that. That's what are you doing here? We've got Melchester Model Railway, Angels Share Model Railways, Harry Sedgwick says, in case of Jennifer's trains, up, going and running. Robin Slewer, nice to talk at Alexandra Palace. Yes, and New Junction is in. Big hello to you guys. And really
But we didn't do the summoning.
Yeah. I know that Ollie does the summoning normally, and actually, Ollie's bought a real brake van. I'm so jealous. I so want to ride in
go
that.
and get a brake van then. If you have to keep up with the Joneses, go and get yourself a brake van.
Yeah, I mean, he's been slowly moving up the scales. I'm not sure what's left. Broad gauge, Irish broad gauge. Maybe he'll buy an A-class or something. But certainly, because he started out on 00, then he went to O gauge, then he went to 5-inch gauge. Now he's at full size. I think he's missed out a few in between. So have people spotted that then?
Yeah. Next up, you know what's going to happen?
What?
He's going to get a giant size inflatable one.
Oh, it'd be like Pink Floyd album cover for Animals, and it'll just float by Battersea Power Station.
It was Wardle Ward written on the side.
Yeah, Wardle was here. But also look out for the fact that I have persuaded him to tag the brake van for me. So hopefully it'll say "Return to Weir Yard" on the side. Excuse me. Sorry. Beverage of choice is Diet Coke at the moment. And Egg Rider says, if you think about the number of model shows that haven't taken place in the last 2 years, then £1,100 is probably under the usual spending at shows. Yes, although I did promise his missus that I wouldn't let him spend too much, and then he just kind of disappeared off and came back with bags of stuff like
Jamie Smith says, are you in the doghouse, Les? My doghouse is all carpeted now. Pictures on the walls, carpet on the floor, tiled.
Yeah, fully insulated. I've got a TV and everything.
That's a man who spends an awful lot of time in the bad books.
Well, to me, it sounds like at some point the wife will suss this and move into the doghouse and kick you out into the house. But no, it was such a great time there. We saw so many people. Couldn't believe just how many people turned up to say hello. And it was great to put faces to names, because obviously you're all these sort of little names on the screen. So when people come up and say, I'm Bob's Trains, and you're like, so you're Bob then? No, it's just a funny name. I'm actually called Jamie. But yeah, hello to Aiden's Railways, Peter Taylor, Brian Bell.
That reminds me of the Beano. When someone wrote into the Beano one time and said, so Dennis's mum and Dennis's dad, that's all you ever call them. What are their actual names? And the editor said, well, funnily enough, they're both actually really called Dennis's mum and Dennis's dad.
Anfield Road layout in the loft, Andy Brooks as well. It's great to see you all. Now, New Junction, you were conspicuous by your absence, although I noticed that you were at the Myog event over last weekend, so clearly you are getting out and about. I think the next show that I'm going to be probably at would be the Great Electric Train Show in Milton Keynes. So actually we're having a summer off. But we are going to be very, very busy because I am going to be...
Going to the moon!
No, I'm hopefully going to be visiting. I've got an invite to Trevor Jones's Garden Railway. Now, you might remember this from the pages of various magazines back in the day. And certainly it was one of the big inspirations for me. Certainly showed me that double O gauge could be used successfully in the garden. So it was an immense honour to be contacted out of the blue by Trevor, who invited me over the summer to go and visit the railway and film there. So I'm really looking forward to that, and a big, big thank you to him for extending the very generous invitation.
She said extend.
New Junction says, not going to Statfold. Remind me of the weekend, because yes, we did say we'd go to Statfold, but we've got a family wedding that's come up, and I don't know whether it's the same weekend. I've got this awful feeling that we could be... we could be actually having a clash. But just remind me of the date for the Statfold event. Paul Murphy says, I missed you last week, Jenny, but Zoe did do a good job. Now, right, anyway, the news... first of all, though, the news. JB Smith says, my house is on the market for sale, or doghouse is tripled in value, all because I wanted an APTP and APTE. Gosh, yes, they've just been released from, they were actually out when I was at Ali Pali. I saw the box artwork, really beautiful box artwork on those sets. I'm not sure whether it was commissioned specially for the box artwork or not. If it has been specially commissioned, I need to suggest to Rapido that get released as a print or a jigsaw or something as well, because it's such a wonderful picture, done in the style of Terence Cuneo or Malcolm Root, the painting. Really, really beautiful. We've also had through the 5 and 7 plank wagons from Rapido. Now, I have filmed a review, and if anybody's struggling to get the Great Western Railway ones, I know that these have sold out pretty much everywhere, then I will do a little bit of a quick plug for Enwins 3D, who are Rapido stockists, and who they did actually send me a message. I told them to remind me, and they haven't reminded me, and now I've got to go hunting.
Sorry, Enwins 3D?
Yes, did they?
Yeah, they've sent it to me. I'm loading it up now that you mentioned it.
Right. They said that I've got it here. Nwins 3D filmed a 30-minute DVD at the East Lancs Railway, which features the real 15XX, and they're going to be giving one free on delivery of any Rapido 15XX pre-orders on their website. If you're able to share that
the website
link,
is nwinsmodels.co.uk. We also have an advert for them. I will copy that link as well.
So we're going to put a couple of links in, but if you are wanting to pre-order one of the Rapido 15XXs, Nwins models are Rapido stockists. They do still have, at least they certainly did, still have one of the Great Western Railway gunpowder wagons. Really hard to get. Ian White says, is the brake van returned to Weir Yard? We're hoping that Wardle Roads is. So I did give him a Monday Club wagon. He has literally had the final Monday Club wagon that I was able to spare. And basically, I held back 10, and these were for promotion, for giving to people who've been incredibly helpful for promoting the channel over the years. And the final one that I was prepared to part with, I gave that to Ollie at Wardle Road. So on the proviso that he stencils "Return to Weir Yard" on the side of his brake van. I don't know whether he will or not. Valley's 56XX says 15XX I want. Absolutely. So really looking forward to some of these great models coming through from Rapido Trains. No, I'm not having my nose prodded by you. Look at the... Oh, what did you do?
You bent the finger that doesn't bend.
Well, you waggled it at me. What did you expect? Rachel Houston said, hello, Jenny. I, also known as Houston WHAP, was very pleased to meet you at Ali Pali, as was Ridgeway Park. Oh, well, we thoroughly enjoyed the exhibition. Absolutely, and it was absolutely brilliant to meet you guys as well. There was so many people actually came to say hello. We had a great turnout. We also had the 2 o'clock meetup, which I was late for. I was half an hour late for. But then again, remember, a Monday clubber is never late. They arrive precisely when they mean to. So, right, a B2000 R-Road Toys channel. It was great to meet you as well at, which was that? That was at Glasgow. Hi, Jenny and Zoe. I'm currently 3D printing a model of Edward in Gauge 1, a TV series prop replica. Are you all right over there? Sorry. Well, don't waggle that finger at me if you don't want it to be grabbed.
It wasn't that.
Oh.
For those of you who don't know,
she has a finger that doesn't bend, but
that's as far as I can bend it. And Jen bent the joint that isn't there.
Yeah, she had it broken as a child. But Iron Horse Railway says finger fatality. Oh yes, don't declare a finger war. Simon Trade's Model Railway Showcase says, you're not half an hour late today, Jenny. I know.
It felt like it when we were trying to get the computer to run.
57305 Northern Princess, great to see you. Says, hi all, sad to see my favourite DVT number 82126, famous for being part of the Pretendelino WB64 set, is going for scrap. Oh dear. And a big thank you to Dylan Rupert, who has become the newest Jenny Kirk member. So a big hello to you.
Hello and welcome.
So you will now have access all areas to the exclusive icons, emoticons that you're able to now use, and also you will get early access to the Friday videos. So thank you so much for your support. The B2000 R-Road Toys channel was at Doncaster. Gosh, I did get them mixed up. In my head I was going, was it Doncaster? Was it Glasgow? But certainly yes, absolutely brilliant to meet you as well. James Hardy says, the Rapido Jones Goods looks interesting. Absolutely. And again, the Jones Goods was one of the big announcements at Glasgow. Even though Rapido weren't attending, it was the case that this is a really exciting development. It's certainly a very famous locomotive. probably most famous to a lot of people for having been used in the filming of those magnificent men in their flying machine, painted in Stroudly improved engine green. It's a shade of yellow. And basically, we're not sure. There's no real firm evidence that it ever really got that livery when it was new. It's more likely it was painted in the Highland Railway holly green. But as BR painted it in the Stroudly yellow colour, then that's one of the options. So I'm so torn. I can't decide between the Stroudly improved engine green and the holly green version. So I have to get both of them. But certainly really looking forward to that. We're getting some really amazing announcements from Rapido. They've also recently announced that the dynamometer coach is actually being rerun. This was originally an exclusive between the National Railway Museum and Rails of Sheffield. There's going to be another run of these. They're not identical to the ones that were out before. These are in, I think it's 2 of the liveries that haven't been released of it. So it is definitely all new. Really looking forward to that because it is a superb coach. I do actually have one of the dynamometer coaches. And really, it's an amazing coach. Certainly the interior is so wonderful. Jerry BVR says, Jenny, I see Little Wicket got scammed by that Cannes website. There's something strange going on, and I haven't heard anything from the company's side of things. I believe that they have ceased trading. But I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, there's still people reporting about this. We did highlight that the company had stopped trading and that there were some issues coming up. So just certainly one to watch out for. Take a look on some of the Facebook groups. There's a lot of up-to-date information there as well. Now, what else have we had announced?
We have a Discord.
Oh yes, we now have a Discord. I know a lot of you guys were asking about that, and we have actually we have listened and we have delivered. So there is a Discord server, and don't ask me what that is. I have no idea.
It's a new version of IRC, basically.
So basically, if anybody remembers Internet Relay Chat, then it's a new version of that. Nigel Cole says, I've ordered a dynamometer coach. You won't be disappointed, I'll say that much, definitely. We also had the 4-plank Great Western open wagon, one of the most numerous Great Western open wagons, which certainly, when the edict from the Railway Clearinghouse came through about handbrakes that were only on one side of a vehicle, it's believed that the Great Western Railway had 19,000 of those wagons on their books. So you can imagine, incredibly numerous. Although, strangely enough, only just appear to have scraped into BR ownership. And Rapido models are offering one version with a BR lettering, but still in the original Great Western Grey. Harry Sedgwick says, yes, the scene of film is those magnificent men in their flying machines from found on Prime Videos or iPhone or Sky TV to find on train scene in 2 hours 50 minutes. I wonder whether... Now, here's an interesting... I wonder if...
Wait for the Discord.
Wait for the Discord. Oh, is it a video or is it a picture? Oh, so do you want me to strike a pose?
Yeah. That's great.
Dominic Z, our Kickline correspondent, says, Jenny, I have found an hilarious Kickline knockoff toy line. They used the exact same mould as the Kenner ones. These ones were made by Zhao Go Sin. And it probably won't be the same mould, but they're
oh, I don't know. There's some that are out there that you
can make a new mould by actually...
Yeah, there are some knockoff wrestling figures using the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe moulds and bodies from the 80s.
Is this because whoever had possession of them out in the factories in China sort of like did a hooky job with them?
Not even that, they just took some of the toys and made moulds.
Yeah, that was what I was trying to get at. That does sometimes happen. Dylan Rupert, thank you ever so much, donating generously $5 on the Super Chat. Says, thinking of pre-ordering a Rapido Trains US Canadian Pacific Royal Hudson's. The only issue I have is their price point. It certainly looks an incredible model, I must admit. And I have seen videos of the model running. I think TRS Trains had one in for the full sound and smoke experience, and it really did look good. But yeah, unfortunately, quality costs money, and it's just one of those things. But yeah, certainly, it does look to be an amazing model. Now, the other thing that it's all go from Rapido at the moment. They also announced the Iron Mink in a number of different liveries. Now, there was a debate as to whether the Rapido's own livery was actually announced by mistake, or whether it was another Easter egg. Now, Rapido really do like doing their Easter eggs, so I'd like to think it's probably done on purpose. But the highlight of the Iron Minks that I will point out is that this appears to be the first time ever that we've had a Cambrian Railways wagon released ready to run. George Botterini, thank you so much for your generosity. $9.99
Thank you
on
so
the
much.
Super Chat. Thank you so much. It says, for the drink of the day, that'll actually buy a good few bottles of the old sort of dark
Diet
brown...
Hokey Cokey.
Yeah, of the dark brown nectar. So thank you so much. I will charge my glass. And there we go. I shall charge my glass.
I'm
thank
actually
you
going
so
to go
much.
and get some more, because that's the last bottle.
Is it? Oh, well, that was an oversight of yours, wasn't it?
I'll be back.
Dave
as we say.
Swindon Junction says, I'm fitting out my OO gauge signal box. Where can I find a controller figure to put inside or on the steps? What scale is that? OO gauge. I'm
Don't
sure
Pico
that...
do some?
Yeah, the Pico through their model scene range, I think, do some. One thing, actually, which does surprise me when I think about it, is that Pico don't have the signalman figure in their signal box interior detailing kit, and it now strikes me as being somewhat odd that they don't include
That
them.
is a bit of an oversight.
But I'd never thought of it as an oversight until now that I'm thinking about it. Warbler Production says, I'll definitely order a Cambrian Railways liveried Iron Mink, one of my favourite pre-grouping companies.
Iron Mink, excellent.
Nick Beard says, bought a lovely Hallion Crompton at Ali Pally from Locomotion. Hertfordshire Rail Tours livery, absolutely stunning. B2000RO Toys channel says, I'll need a link to your Discord. The Cupboard Monkey will post that unless there's... I think a few of you have already gone in there, so if somebody could post a link to the Discord in the chat, that would be great. Egg Rider says, for the Cambrian Railways, check the video link I sent to Zoe. So I have an early Daypole Cambrian gunpowder wagon in a consist with a 2 GWR Rapido ones. Okay, not an Iron Mink. Patrick Furlong says, announcement. I'm working on designing a 3D print of the Jenny Kirk logo for you to possibly sell as badges or key rings. Oh, wow. I look forward to seeing those. Spongate Junction says, good evening, Jenny and Zoe in double O gauge. They have the Sentinel shunters, and in N gauge we have the Hunslet shunters. I picked up 2 Hunslet shunters in a class 03 at Ali Pally. Yeah, the Hunslet shunters in N gauge really do look nice. I was shown, a couple of people showed me them that they bought, and in fact, actually, West Hill Wagon Works did take a photograph of one on Myneth Tatters. Even though Myneth Tatters is actually 009 because it's countryside, if you take it at a low enough angle so you can't see the sleepers, you can actually photograph N-gauge stuff on it. Wardle Road, your ears must have been burning. We were talking about your brake van. So great to see you. How is the restoration going? Oliver Gilson says, hello Jenny, I saw you at Ali Pally. I was the guy with the coaches. Ah, brilliant. Also that a Train Too Far channel I do stuff with, so my friend mentioned. Also your layout was amazing. Thank you so much. Now, getting back to the news, I know it probably takes me 2 hours to get through the news, but just like, meanwhile, back at the ranch. But there's a lot of Rapido news. We mustn't forget that there's also been a lot of announcements from Daypole as well. The Hawthorne Leslie 040 really does look superb. Really looking forward to that. We've also had the announcements of the J94 and O gauge, all new tooled model. Really, really looking forward to seeing that in the flesh. And we've also had some announcements of some reruns in N gauge, O gauge, and 002. Excuse me. Ben Davis says, "Hi Jennifer, did you see the Hornby story on Facebook? What is it? Thanks. I'm not sure what you're mentioning there. I don't know if somebody is able to fill me in there." Jennifer Garrett says, "I suspect there will never be a ready-to-run Shropshire and Montgomeryshire railway wagon. They marked their stock S&M." I never say never. Now, but yes, that's not it's not an ordinary bondage suit. That's an S&M bondage suit. So Wardle Road says, "Hello all who said hello. Brake van going great. Next episode, I drive a loco and pull it about." Oh wow! So you're going to be doing brake van rides with your special van. We should probably at some point try and arrange a Monday Club Live. If you can get a decent internet connection there, that might actually be a possible venue for a Monday Club Live. So Wardle Road says episode 6 out this week, hopefully. So is it going to be stenciled? Return to Weir Yard? Hopefully. O'Neill, big hello to you. Hello, Jenny. Hope you're okay. Hello, everyone in chat. Great to see you. Hope I find you well. But anyway, yes, back to the news. Now, the big news event isn't actually an announcement, but you may have seen earlier on today that Pico have put out a statement about the small England. Now, I know that there's been murmurings of there being a problem for some time. With people saying that their locomotive arrived damaged. Now, what it appears to be, Pico have said that there's a problem with the packaging, and this means that the locomotive is free to move around in transit, and that in turn is causing damage. We're seeing cabs ranging from just dislodged through to actually broken, and also reports of side rods being loose in the box as well. Now, I ordered one of the small Englands. It did arrive today, and I can unfortunately attest that yes, there does seem to be a high attrition rate. My small England arrived today with the cab dislodged and damaged, and the side rods were just loose on one side in the box with no sign of the crank pins. Wardle Road says maybe. I said my Jenny Kirk wagon took a trip to the Yorkshire Dales yesterday too. Absolutely. Mouldy Raspberries layout held host to Wardle Road and more importantly a Jenny Monday Club wagon. Hemel Model Railway, hi to you. Dongit's Model Railway asks, so does the railway make sure their loads are tied down properly? I think this is the Shropshire and Montgomeryshire, aka the S and M. Bill Bosserman says hello from southern Idaho in the USA. Big hello to you too. It's great to see you. Always welcome all of our viewers from all around the world. I like transport. Hello to you too. And Leslie Gilpin Railways, absolutely. At least Pico are admitting there's been an issue with their packaging. I know parallels were being drawn with the W1 from Hornby that had packaging issues. But yes, Pico have held their hands up, owned up and said yes, they're aware that the packaging is not up to standard. And when you look at it, it's quite peculiar because Cato are well known for having decent packaging. So it's rather strange that they've chosen to use just a formed polystyrene insert. And, you know, in this day and age, I thought polystyrene was bad and evil and not to be used. But they've used a polystyrene insert and the model's just loose inside it. So I've got one to go back. I've noticed that everybody seems to be buying Prince, and I'm not sure about why that should be. But Prince is sold out everywhere, but Princess is still available. I did actually get mine from Rails of Sheffield, but the Princess just seems to be still available. I Like Transport says, I'm sorry to hear about the substandard packaging. I know, but in credit to Pico, they have held their hands up and are making sure that steps are made to get damaged models fully repaired as quickly as possible. So if you do receive a damaged model, you can either return it to the original retailer, or if, for example, with the prints, you may have difficulty getting them to replace it because they're completely out of stock. Pico also will allow you to send it direct to them, and obviously under the Sale of Goods Act, and they will refund you the return postage because it is within the guarantee period. So do keep a record of postage costs, but they will repair it and get it back to you as quickly as possible. B2000RO Toys channel says, now that you have Discord, this means I can show you what projects I'm working on. Absolutely, and of course don't forget as well, we've got the Facebook group too, which is another great place to check on how things are going with other people's layouts and also share details of your own. Warbler Production says the Festinio Railway still had some Prince models left earlier today. So certainly there are still some Princes out there. But what I've noticed that for a lot of the retailers, Prince seems to be the more popular model. Now, I've spoken to Pico about further production runs. Now, as you know, there were originally 4 small Englands. There's Prince, Princess, originally titled The Prince and The Princess. But then there was also Palmerston, and now my brain is going, you're going to get this wrong. I think it was Mountaineer was the 4th one. Mountaineer did not get rebuilt. So Mountaineer was a very early casualty. And what you will find is that when you look up the history of these locomotives, you think, you know, the Festiniog Railway just sort of eked everything out for a long, long time and kept patching up and patching up. But actually, several of the original locomotives no longer exist and actually were scrapped very early on. Things like Mountaineer, Little Wonder as well. Or was it Little Giant? My brain's just gone. It could have been Little Giant. I know that the large England's Welsh Pony still exists, but the other one, which is either Little Giant or Mountaineer, was scrapped probably about 1890s, something like that. There's still Palmerston not being released. There's also the green liveries. There's a lot of different livery options. Plus, of course, Palmerston as another locomotive that's not been produced in model form. So 2023, I'm being quoted as to when it is likely that when a second production run comes through. And I suspect that if they've proven incredibly popular and they can sort out the packaging issue, what we may well see is Palmerston, as well as Prince and Princess, reissued in an alternative livery. So we may see 3 or even 4. Maybe they'll do Palmerston in 2 different liveries. Now, Ham Shackleton says, I thought Welsh Pony was a small England. I could actually be wrong, but I'm sure that Welsh Pony was a large England, and it's actually Palmerston is the 3rd surviving small England. Now, Palmerston very nearly didn't survive. Very nearly in the 1950s, during the preservation era, there was an individual who was told to cut it up. They were cutting up redundant slate wagons for scrap metal to raise funds. And they were told, when you're done with that, cut up that old thing. With the works manager pointing at Palmerston. Luckily, they disobeyed that and didn't. So thus Palmerston did survive, although it was considered a sad no-hope case, but was restored through the 1970s. I believe she was sold in 74 to a consortium who slowly worked on restoring her through the late 70s and 1980s. Slow restoration, but it does mean that Palmerston does survive. James Hardy does confirm Welsh Pony is a large England. Dominic Z points out that Mighty Mac from Thomas the Tank Engines was based on The Little Giant. But after my time, I must admit that I only considered the Reverend W. Awdry's books canon. Because everybody knows the Railway series ended with tramway engines. I've never even read his son's books. I'm at that age where actually his son's books didn't exist when I was little. Jerry BVR says Discord is kind of like Facebook but with more privacy, less tracking and less press. Oh, that does sound good actually. Egg Rider says Welsh Pony and Little Giant are the large England, Prince, Princess, Mountaineer and Palmerston are the small England. So I did get it right first time round. I believe that the original Mountaineer never actually got rebuilt into the form that the other three are currently in. Of course, originally, when they were delivered, they looked nothing like their present form. And I suspect that what actually happened is when they reached a point where they needed to be rebuilt, they rebuilt 3 good engines out of the 4 engines that were there. In much the same way that on the North Wales narrow gauge railways, the single fairlies, there was a point where 2 of those were built into 1 good locomotive. Tim Maslin says, with the continued production issues in China, brackets, I've fallen victim with the Curascale. Do you think these companies will move production back to the EU in the long term? Now, it's unfair to single out a Curascale there, and it is outside of their control. We've seen in the news that Shanghai has been locked down. There's been a small, admittedly very small outbreak of COVID there. China has this kind of zero tolerance policy in that if they find these cases, they just shut down, and it's like Uber isolation. And that has been disrupting a lot of production, not just in model railways, but also in a lot of other manufacturing areas too. And the end result of that is that all manufacturers are experiencing a lot of delays. Even now, Model Asia, if you remember, I did do that review, a new brand, Chinese-based brand, principally at the moment making Chinese market models. I actually had an email from their MD who said they actually wanted me to pass on their apologies to another manufacturer that they'd been dealing with, because he said he couldn't get to the factory where his work computer was, where he'd been dealing with everything. And he just explained, he said, it's locked down, can't get there for could be weeks. He says, I don't have the contact details. Would you please pass on my my apologies to the company? And obviously, because I do know a lot of people in all the different companies, I was able to pass that along. But, you know, even when the MD of a company out there isn't able to get to their factory, it is quite difficult. And all of the manufacturers are experiencing issues as a result of this. As to whether bringing production back to Europe is going to be a thing, well, we've seen Dapol investing. Pico never really left. I think there will be some production brought back to the UK. Humbrol came back to the UK. But locomotives are very complicated. They have a lot of intensive labour required, and that is the expensive part. So I don't think we'll see locomotives come back anytime soon. Now, Stephen McSee says bringing manufacture at home or even to Europe would require costs ex-China to increase by a factor of about 5 to 6 before it's even worth consideration. I'd agree with that on things that are intensive to assemble, like locomotives, like some of the more complex coaches with a lot of separate parts. But certainly Dapol have proven that some things can. So, for example, the containers for their double O gauge and O gauge wagons are entirely made and decorated in the UK. Mark Wilson says that Bachmann have opened a shop in their town in Hinckley. Now, this is interesting. Again, I've got mixed feelings on this, but I will declare an interest. Now, I know and get on very, very well as a friend with Richard Davies from Hattons. So obviously, as a reviewer, as a journalist, you have to be impartial, which I am. But it does make me wonder when Bachmann have effectively one of the things they don't like is a retailer who makes their own model and then retails it out to other retailers, which seems to have been one of the things that meant that Hattons had their Bachmann account pulled. But for Bachmann to then start retailing, we've seen a lot of concern when Hornby has been selling direct. And I'm a big advocate of supporting your local model shops. And I'm not entirely sure where I sit on this. There's a part of me that feels a little bit uneasy with manufacturers opening up their own retail shops. That said, Daypol do. You can go to the Daypol store at Kirk and you can buy any of their stuff. And I guess if they're selling at RRP, you could argue that actually it's more about being able to demonstrate the full range of products rather than the primary reason being to sell them. And if that were the case, if the emphasis was on demonstration and being able to go and browse the full range, and when I say full range, you've got to remember that Bachmann distribute for people like Woodland Scenics, Britons, EFE, there's loads of different companies, and some of the range of stuff is actually quite incredible. And just to illustrate, if I can find it in here, somewhere in here. So this is one of the products that they distribute. It's called Scenorama, and these are really great, but you won't find them in most model shops in the UK. Just the range is so huge that quite simply it just doesn't get stocked. So I could imagine that it's a great way of some of these unsung heroes of the ranges that they carry. It would be great to be able to access them and even just to see them in the flesh. So that would be good. But I'm undecided yet. I think it needs clarification. If Bachmann come back and say, actually, yes, it's more about being able to showcase the full range of their products, then actually that's a good thing.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Bachmann's getting high street shops, is that what you're going about?
Well, they've opened one. I don't know whether there's going to be more.
They were getting very angry with people who were high street shops but were moving into model making. And yet they've gone from model making to opening high street shops. That seems a little bit two-faced. Yeah,
and that I don't, obviously we're not seeing the full story here, and I'm very mindful of this, and I don't want to comment without, or certainly I don't want to reach a conclusion without full facts. But I think if it's more about, I don't think they're going to be discounting. I think if you do buy from there, it's going to be full RRP. And that's where, David Leister says Pico have had their own shop for years. Absolutely, Daypol do as well, but they sell at RRP. And if it's going to be that, then...
So, will it be cause for celebration?
Oh, what a segue. There you go.
Jenny!
I'm getting all good ones that I like. Oh, Malteser. I like the Malteser ones.
This is just wrong.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and there we go. Right. Hey, wait a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you giving them to me?
Yeah. There you go.
I can't believe you've done that.
Oh, there you go, because I'm really nice.
I can believe you've done that.
Yeah, come on. There
You're throwing them on the... What are you... I can't take you anyway. You're
what
horrible.
The heck happened to that?
Well, you've messed about, so that's what happened to that.
That's been trodden on.
By you.
Yeah, but more for the
anyway.
production test. The new Bachmann shop is now my closest shop. I'll pay a visit sometime in the summer. And it's one of the things that, just to put on my devil's advocate hat, that actually one of the great things that Bachmann does at shows, if you ever seen them at shows, They have a lot of displays where they show how to use a lot of the products. And if part of this is to actually show people how to use them, the great scenery products that they supply, then I think actually it could work really, really well. I'd like to see how it impinges on other model shops. But it's like, as I said before, I bet most of you weren't even aware that Bachmann stocked products like these. The Scenorama range, these are amazing.
I've never even heard of them.
Well, yeah, but...
I bet you've used it sometime. I've never even noticed.
Yes, I have. So we've got some really great products here for making trees, bushes. This one's aimed at sort of the looks to be like the US desert. It's got cacti and stuff and succulents. So wild grasses, scrub brush. It's really good for making stuff. So we've got foliage, fibre. I actually use the red flowers in this. These are the best flowers in red that I've ever seen because they're so fine. So I can't recommend them more highly. I just wish I could find if they sold them separately that fine. Russell Benton says, point is Hatton's got punished by them for making models, yet Bachmann, a model maker, is opening a shop.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. It feels wrong, like they're trying to have their cake and eat it.
If they're not stocking anybody else's products, if it's just their products and the products that they themselves distribute in the UK and Europe, then I can see it working. And I think maybe it's an extension of, effectively, it's like a showroom. And a lot of manufacturers have that. DCC Concepts have a very good one up in Settle, where you can go and see all of the range. And sometimes it's very difficult when you just see a listing. If you just see a line of text, it's like Scenorama, Desert Plants, Accents for School Project. That would mean nothing to you. Look at it and go, whatever. But actually, great product. And there's a whole range like that.
Could this be like a Games Workshop thing?
I am wondering.
Games Workshop is, from my point of view, the best at this. Because not only are they selling their stuff and showing people how it's used in a cool way, but they also run classes. It's like, come on in and we will show you how to get the best from this, whether you're a beginner or not. Now, I don't do an awful lot of Warhammer or anything like that, but I love the style they have for their shops. It's like, come on in, join us. It's not as scary as you think. So that, to me, if that's what they're doing, that's excellent.
Yeah. So actually, maybe I should go and pay them a visit.
Yeah.
And take a look and have a chat with them.
I think that might be the best thing.
Big hello to J94, Posh Dan as well. Who says,
Posh Dan? Does that mean that there's also a regular Dan?
And a common Dan. Didn't Hornby do a similar thing with retailers that make their own models? I'm not sure. Hornby wasn't quite so clear about their criteria. But certainly, yeah, maybe we should talk to Bachmann and say, could we come down and have a chat and do some
and see
filming?
what's going on.
That might actually be quite good. And just to, find out exactly what the plan is. If it is what I suspect it is, then actually it could be quite good.
Yeah.
But
there is one thing.
What?
The more of these shops that turn up, the more chance that an average person might see it and think, that's interesting, and come into the hobby.
And actually, one of the other interesting things, excuse me, just from my experience at DCC Concepts, was one of the things that the showroom, which was just, it was a shop, you could come in as a punter and buy stuff, but it was also used to show stockists that would come up and visit and go, this is our range, look at all these products, which may actually be quite difficult in a factory and office environment. But if you've got a showroom like that, it actually does serve the function that you can demonstrate the products to retailers who stock your range, to encourage them.
The demonstration is the key.
Yeah. To encourage them to, obviously I've got this to hand, there is a lot more than this. And when we did the Great Model Railway Challenge, what was actually very apparent, it was quite an eye-opener, was just how huge the range of products were that Bachmann distribute
Oh my
that
goodness,
you just never heard of. And
I remember you guys just sitting
you
in...
could get dinosaurs, like model dinosaurs.
Yeah, I remember that being a thing that you were talking about. Can we use these and what can we do? You guys were sat in our library just looking at the catalogue for hours.
Yeah.
Just brainstorming ideas. Like, look, they've got this. I've never even seen this. Do you think we should use it to try it?
And a lot of shops don't necessarily... space is a big issue, but a lot of shops don't carry a lot of this range. And I think there's very much an air in the UK of, but we keep telling people there's no demand for that. And it's very difficult to get people to try something new. And maybe that's what this is about. It's about saying, hey, look, we've got this great range and we want to make people aware of it. So, yeah, maybe I'll reach out to Bachman and just ask about whether it's possible to come down and... do an interview and just see the shop and talk to them about what it's about. I think that might make a really interesting video.
Couldn't agree more.
So, big hello to Mel. It's great to see you. Mark Wilson says, yes, I suppose, again, it's just 5 minutes down the road. I would have thought Leicester City Centre would be a much higher footfall. Also very expensive.
It would all depend on the deals you could get with the local council and whether the councils will allow you to do certain things with the building. Maybe you need certain plan permission to extend a room, that kind of thing.
New Western Grove, before it disappears off the top, says, hello, I'm thinking of buying the Acura Scale Deltic for my layout. I would say don't think about it, just do it. It certainly looks to be an amazing model. It's been doing the rounds at the shows, actually been put through its paces on real layouts at the shows, and it looks to be a super fine model. One of the incredible things that was on display when we were at Alexandra Palace was that quite simply you couldn't stall it, you couldn't make it slip. They had a huge
challenge accepted.
They had a huge number of the Hornby Gresley coaches, which are quite heavy, behind this, and what they said was that they were at the limit not of what the locomotive could pull, but at the risk that the leading coaches would actually derail on the curves because of the drag pulling them in from the train behind. Big hello to Hythe Kent, and 57305 Northern Princess says, the shop is in Hinckley because Bachman is based in Hinckley. Absolutely. And it does put credence to the fact that it's more about demonstrating products. Exploring an Adventure says, do you have any Class 66s, Jenny? I do not. We have reviewed the Hattons Class 66, but it's not a locomotive that is contained within my fleet. Map the Dragon Railway says, especially when people would see the real PBA 39 and think about getting a model one. I think that's an answer to a conversation that's going on in the text. Right. There's a lot of people chatting as well, which...
yeah, New Western Grove says, started my model railway. It's a 7 by 11 foot shape set on the L-shape, set on the ECML in the 1940s to 70s.
East Coast Main Line.
That sounds
basically,
interesting.
That's the East Coast Main Line, presumably before it got electrified. So yeah, I'm really it's a reasonable space. I think that's going to look really nice. Iron Horse Railway says, sorry to put this out there randomly, but when did brake vans stop appearing on freight workings? Mid-70s, early 80s? There was a gradual decline. There was a point in, I believe, the 70s where there was an agreement that any train that was continuously braked, the guard could ride in the rear cab of the locomotive. So you saw a huge reduction in the need for brake vans then, because as trains became fully fitted, there was no need to actually have a brake van. But whilst there were still unfitted trains, they had to have a brake van on the end. Unfitted trains lasted through into the 80s in smaller and smaller spheres of influence. I believe some of the last flows included things like the MDO wagons and possibly the HUO hoppers as well, and they would have had to have run with a brake van. There were also other occasions where a brake van was required. So, for example, if there was a propelling move along the journey, then they would need a brake van at the other end of the train so that when it was being reversed, somebody could ride at the back, usually with a two-way radio, and actually be watching the way ahead. So one of the final workings of this type was Shotton Paper Mill, where a brake van was required because the propelling move into the works, which didn't have its own run-round loop, involved crossing a level crossing, albeit off a very minor road, not even a B road, but it needed a brake van. And I can remember probably about 2003, 2004, visiting Shotton Paperworks with the company that I was working for at the time, and actually seeing the brake van. By then it was kept in the works, so the local scroats didn't set fire to it. I believe a previous brake van had been torched when left in the sidings, and the workers were actually using it as a rudimentary smoking hut.
Hey, tut tut.
Yeah, it was just parked right at the end of the head shunt, and they were using
So it wasn't even behind the bike sheds?
No, but of course they've got a stove and seats and a roof and a veranda as well, so people were using it as a social point, which, you know, in some respects, kind of nice that it had a use. And it's, in a way, I guess, if that brake van didn't pass on into preservation, it'd be a shame that the works didn't actually keep it, just as a pet hut for stuff like that.
But even so, if you're going to have a smoking area, it should be behind the bike shed. It's a rule.
On Leslie Gilpin Railways page, Wikipedia says the requirement to use brake vans on trains in Great Britain was formally removed in 2021. However, brake vans, to be honest, haven't been used for a long, long time before that. There's a lot of them used in engineers' use, and actually for a lot of occasions, it was more about them being used to carry crew to and from work sites. Jennifer Garrett says sharks survived till about 10 years ago. However, it has to be pointed out that a shark really isn't so much a brake van as a ballast plough that also doubles as a brake van and a crew carrier.
Multifunction.
And
Multipath.
And due to their short wheelbase, they weren't generally run at the end of the train because they had a very short wheelbase, and it made them hunt at high speed. It made them very prone to derailments. So they were, when they ran in a train, they tended to be marshalled into the middle.
All right.
Simon Trains Model Railway Showcase says Sheffield Station still has a Shark brake van on display. Is that by accident or by design? 156 Andrew says, Jenny, are you eating a twirl? No, it was a Galaxy.
We decided that since our diet starts tomorrow, we're having a celebration.
Oh no, that was Shenfield. I thought it said Sheffield. It's Shenfield. EWS's last brake van was a Queen Mary that was used as a Santa Grotto for staff children's party at Bescot, and that was sold in 2008. So, in all honesty, even though 2021 the rules were formally changed, the reality is that they were gone much before. And Graham Smith Thompson says, hi Jennifer, brake vans were used on nuclear flask trains at least until the early 90s. So yeah, most brake vans kind of started to disappear from the late 70s onwards. But there's a lot of interesting liveries on brake vans. The fact that Queen Mary's and Shark brake vans certainly carried EWS livery, but you know, I'm looking now at one in Network Southeast livery, a Southern Railway pillbox brake van as well over there. A lot of them used as coupling translators too. So Merseyrail had a pair of Stanier brake vans in Merseyrail livery that were used as coupling translators for EMUs when going to and from works. And essentially, they were coupled top and tail with the EMU and provided a translator vehicle between the coupling on the EMU and the couplings used on regular locomotives so that they could pull the train. Simon Trains Model Railway Showcase says, it's there as an accident. There was problems with it. Had to take it off the train at Shenfield in the late 80s. And just left there. But is it in good nick? Is it actually being looked after, or is it effectively abandoned? So I'm not sure that abandoned really counts. I believe that somewhere there's a Southern pillbox brake van, which ended up getting marooned on the end of a siding. They blocked the siding, then lifted the point, so it's just stuck there on a siding with no actual rail access, and it's just more trouble than it's worth to remove it. Big hello to James Pets. I do approve of James Pets arriving. It was great as well to have a great chat with you at Alexandra Palace. Always a pleasure, James, and certainly it was a great show. Actually, thoroughly enjoyed it. You needed sharp elbows on the Saturday because it was very, very busy. Lots and lots of bargains. But yeah, definitely enjoyed it. The Sunday, always more of a slightly more laid-back family-type day. Really did enjoy it. In terms of other news, well, we've covered the Pico Small England packaging issues. We've covered all of this plethora, and that is a good word, write it down, we should use it more often in everyday conversation, plethora of Rapido announcements. They're really coming thick and fast. But then we've also had the Daypole announcements. That Hawthorne Leslie really is a standout for me. And let's have a look.
This is the news from Warbler Productions.
The Stanford Model Railway Show is next weekend, the 9th and 10th of April. If you're not able to get to that, there's the Miniature Traction Engine weekend 4 weeks later. So next weekend, as in the one that's coming up.
No.
The one after.
There's this weekend, next weekend, and then the wedding.
So this is the next weekend. So we can come. So we will be there.
It does mean that you'll have stuff every weekend for 3 weeks. Are you going to be okay for that? Because
yeah, no, because I'm taking a week's holiday. Remember?
All right, that's fine then.
Having a week's holiday. It's great.
That's okay.
Really looking forward to it. Booking a week off work, I think. So really looking forward.
I'm hoping that I can survive this weekend, this week off that she's got planned.
Well, I also want to juice box videos. I want to cannonball my way through.
And this is what I fear.
Yeah. One of the interesting things, actually, I don't think anybody's mentioned it. Has anybody noticed my Back to the Future number plate up there?
I think you'll find it's my Back to the Future thing that I've allowed you to put there.
Or as our US viewers would say, a license plate. So there we are, we've got the outer time from the... Do you remember that? The Back to the Future ride at Universal Studios. I can remember going to that in the early 90s on a family trip. It still had its original price sticker on, and I know that that's an original because it was $4.95. And Universal Studios were not noted for their bargain prices. They were always like really at the top whack expensive. So that is from when $4.95 was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Warbler Productions says, as there was a discussion about the Festiniog locos earlier, I'm going to do a post on the early Festiniog engines before closure on the Monday Club group. Looking forward to that. Certainly Festipedia, which is the Festiniog Railways version of Wikipedia, but specifically for the Festiniog, Welsh Highland Railway and North Wales Narrow Gauge Railway and associated bits and pieces, is really, really interesting. Is where I get all my information from. But I'm really looking forward to seeing whether Bachmann can tool up for Little Wonder, which is the original double fairly that didn't survive long. I think it only lasted 13 years in service. So it never got rebuilt, I believe, with a proper full cab. James Pett says, Back to the Future. I remember watching Back to the Future when the future was still in the future rather than in the past. Yes. And the worrying thing is that it's now longer from now back to 1985 when that film was set than it was from 1985 back to 1955.
Yeah,
Does
that's
that
how
make
time
you feel
works.
old? Yeah, so we're living in the future, and I'm still waiting for that for the floating cars.
That'll never happen.
No.
We can't trust people to drive them properly on the ground, never mind through the air.
Oh God, can you remember that? Can you imagine that?
Yeah, you step out, you
car
look out
through the roof.
Yeah, you just look out the window in the morning. You open. You know those Disney films where they throw open the windows and gaze out and the birds are singing, and then a car driven by a drunk flies past and smacks them in the face.
Yeah, it's amazing. Go hither, young boy. Buy me the biggest turkey you can find. Get lost, mister. I'm going to take my flying car for a joyride. Actually, that looks interesting. Warbler Productions says, I have the big £75 book on the history of their locos. Well worth it if you want to see more in-depth info. Certainly, that would be quite interesting. Warbler Productions says, I'm still waiting for the hoverboards and self-lacing shoes. Yeah, power laces. And also, jacket dry mode. Your jacket is now dry.
The self-lacing shoes actually did come out.
Were they?
Nike made a set as a gimmick.
Well, did they actually really do what they said on the tin?
Yeah, they could lace themselves up.
But
it's like a pressure pad in the bottom when you first put your shoe on.
Oh, right. But how much did they cost?
Oh, fortune. And they were very limited edition because it was basically just like a proof of concept gimmick thing. Just because they could.
Keep talking, I'm enjoying the chocolate.
Sometimes that's the best way with these things. Yes, we can do it, but let's face it, it would be very expensive and you're not getting anything extra for it unless you have like no hands or something like that.
Cameron Patterson says, good night from Glasgow. It's been great having your company. Thank you ever so much for joining us. And don't forget to tickle that like button before you go. And you can also catch up on the rest of the stream after it is finished. So,
and remember to like that tickle button.
Don't forget to tickle the like, everybody. Everybody press the like button if you haven't already pressed it. And share the stream to let people know about the Monday Club goodness. And I must admit, actually, it was so great to meet so many of you. Not just at Alexandra Palace, but at Glasgow, at Doncaster as well. Really great. And I'm always so humbled, the number of people who come up, say hello. So many selfies taken with me, and I always love that. I always feel a little bit embarrassed. It's like, why would you want a selfie with me? Surely there's more beautiful people. There we go.
Explosion.
H. Walker Steam and Heritage Railvid says, talking of flying cars, bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, our fine four-fended friend. And actually there was a Channel, I think it was Channel 4, a programme where they actually made one and made it work, made it fly.
Why?
Because they had several £1 million to blow. I don't know.
Hello, Les Cliff. How are you doing? And are you out of the doghouse yet?
Hello, Les. So, it's really great to see you, and it was so great to hang out over Alexandra Palace. Thank you so much for coming with me. And also, I'd like to convey a huge, big thanks from all of the retailers in the hall who were incredibly pleased that you were there to spend some custom with them. And I hope you didn't get in too much trouble. Timber Surf says, Jenny, are you going to Statfold Barn Railway Model Railway event 9th and 10th of April? Yeah, we're going to look to go. I don't know which day. I believe we've been invited all weekend as guest of, I think it's Hornby Magazine. I must double check actually, because they're going, we send you an invite and you can't even name check us properly. Yeah, we will be there on one or other of the days. Maybe that would be a good time if we did say the Saturday or something to see whether we could call in at that Bachman shop.
Maybe.
Hythe Kent says there's someone in East Kent that drives a DeLorean. I saw it last week in Folkestone. I saw one in South Yorkshire.
Yeah, but I bet they only drive it from time to time.
Yeah. Do you mind? I'm doing the jokes here. I got overtaken by a DeLorean on the A1M heading south, just past Doncaster. I did try and see if it was Doc Brown driving, but it just got up to 88 and disappeared. Oh, I don't get the trombone, but you do. Do that again.
No.
Go on. Hey, no, don't pull my finger off.
Pull my finger.
Right, give me my finger back. Oh, what are you doing with it? Iron Horse Railway says, I just realised, but with your shuttle setup, it looks like that blue loco, class 31, is shunting the yard sidings there. Really quite cool there. No, it's a class 25 actually. There's
two that shunt.
No, there's three. There's three of the DCC Concepts ABC shuttles. I really do like them. Yeah, there's a few DeLoreans about actually, but
No, there's only one, and it travels.
no. Because people tend to forget there's actually a real car. So, not a great car, but there's a real car. But sometimes you see the custom mods where people make it up to look like the ones in the film, and I always think they're really quite cool. Charlie McGowan, Patrick Hill Station, great to see you. Joshua W56, great to see you in too. Jennifer Garrett says the real Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was a racing car made by Count Louis Zabrowski, who co-founded the Romney Hythe and Dunchurch Railway, but was killed at Monza. The Fairburn loco, Count Louis, was named after him.
Wow.
Yeah. Map the Dragon Railways asks, have you any eyes on any Rapido locos? Absolutely. We said at the beginning about that Jones Goods announcement. Really wanting that in. I can't decide between Holly Green and the improved engine green yellow. So I may get tempted to buy both, so it could get very expensive. James Pett says there was a model DeLorean on the freshwater 2mm fine scale layout at Alexandra Palace. I missed that. Although I didn't get a lot of time to actually see any of the layouts. It was so busy. So I'll have to go back and look at other people's videos. I know Les took a lot of video. So I'd love to go and have a look around. Growler Blackwood N-Gauge layout says, night all time for some modelling. Well, look, you take care, and don't forget you can always have us on in the background. Can you talk?
So, there's not a huge amount coming up in the chat as far as I can see. There's a lot of people talking to each other. We do have a few people who have come in late on, so I think we have to now go over to Gandalf. What is your opinion on people arriving late, Gandalf?
A Monday clubber is never late, Frodo Baggins, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Thanks, Gandalf. So there you are. Gandalf says it's alright. And I think if Gandalf says it, then it's definitely alright. So we've got a few comments. Dominic Zed, our Kickline correspondent, says, Jenny, what do you think of the Hornby Oliver? I don't know what... I don't know what the Hornby Oliver is.
It's based on their what's now a railroad. Used to be the Airfix 042 14XX auto tank. It's a very basic model. It's been superseded by the DJ models stroke Hattons 14XX, which in turn not necessarily the best. Unless you're an avid Thomas the Tank Engine collector.
And who isn't?
I would say it's probably not worth it, but that's my opinion. Don't let my opinion...
I have to ask one thing. Does DJ models ever beatbox like it ain't no thing?
No, because you got exposed as being a bit of a sharp practice merchant.
Ah, right. Fair enough.
But you mean... Settle in, be recounted with the tale of DJ models. Can't believe you didn't know about that. Beverage of choice, Diet Coke.
I don't know.
Thank you so much, Flymer Chairman 1, for pointing out membership to the Monday Club with Jenny Kirk channel is available. There's the link.
Thank you.
James Pett says, the weekly Gandalf. But do you approve? Do you approve? I bet he does. Wait, why do you keep changing the angle? I change the angle, then you immediately change it to
I was changing it to one that had trains on it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry to say, I'm actually flagging quite badly.
I am a little bit as well. So, do we have a lot of videos sent in by people?
I asked... Give me 1 second. I've got a pain in my shoulder.
Do you need a bit of air? Because it is getting quite warm in here.
What I need is to go to bed because I need an early night. I am exhausted from all the
you
work
and me
we've been
both. So we're going to go to bed straight after the Monday Club anyway because we are quite tired. I have actually been up since midnight this morning. Yes, absolutely. I've been to Bristol and back. I have slept a little bit in between. I had 2.5 hours at Bristol. Whilst they messed around at the studio, and then I have had 3 hours this afternoon. Although my father, knowing that I'm working what effectively amounts to nights, still rang me up to go, hello, oh, we're asleep. Oh, well, that's it, isn't it? And it's like, for God's sake.
Can I just say, Jen, that your dad does to you what you do to me every day? Now, you know that I go to bed after you've gone to work because I make you breakfast.
Can I just say, I remember when my dad briefly worked nights, and if I'd have known then what I know now, I'd have woken him up at every opportunity.
Yes, but I make you breakfast, then I go to bed, but I don't go to bed immediately and I can't sleep straight away. So when you phone me at 10 o'clock, it's often where I've had 4 or 5 hours sleep.
That's not my fault.
It is your fault.
Egg Rider, this is it. Egg Rider said someone's expecting a lot on eBay. Nothing new there. The original Bachmann 3x Southeastern and Chatham Railway wagon set is a buy it now for £125. Gouging. I suspect they haven't realised that the Rapido versions are
I suspect
available.
they have realised and they want someone to buy it anyway.
I think that's what's called waiting for another one to be born.
Yes.
They are a good set of wagons. I know that they are valuable, but not that valuable. Although it has to be said, some model railway items are becoming incredibly valuable.
You haven't got speculators in the thing.
I think it's just a lot of people wanting models where there's absolutely short supply. One of the things actually really quite intrigued by, the Hatton's P class in the Bluebell Railway Blue as Bluebell, those are changing hands for over £400 a loco now. I know they proved popular when they were out, but certainly that is actually an incredible increase, especially as it wasn't the first one to sell out. So I dread to think what my Southeastern and Chatham Railway Austerity Grey version, as I think it's number 754, would actually be worth. Not that
Tuppence.
No.
We've got a question here. Mark Wilson says, Mark Wilson says, have you got an actual old car horn, or is that Zoe?
Zoe swallowed an old car horn quite some time ago, and we haven't been able to actually get it out. So occasionally she does honk.
Can I just...
Actually, she honks quite a lot.
Can I just say that technically Jenny does have an old car horn, because Jenny has an old car, and it has a horn in it.
However, it doesn't sound like that. Does mean if the horn breaks, I just hang you out of the window.
Yes, and I'll use my invisible clown horn. Or the trombone that we tend to use, or yes, the old, the broken trombone. I spent many, many hours perfecting sounds, let's put it that way. Because when I was making... a lot of people these days who go into YouTube grew up making films with the cameras and stuff.
You just made sounds.
I had audio dramas because I didn't have a video camera, but I did have a tape recorder. So I made sounds. Here endeth the lesson.
Yes, I'm so glad that we learnt all this, didn't it? It was just really what we needed to hear, wasn't it?
Yes.
Right. Warbler Production says, I had Bluebell as a birthday present off my dad. I absolutely love it, having seen the real one when she visited the Battlefield line in 2014. Absolutely, but I mean, the price is just getting silly. And I think it's an interesting point is this a sign that manufacturers are strangling supply somewhat? We're becoming more and more familiar with you have to order on pre-order or you miss out. Is this a sign that actually manufacturers are getting it wrong in terms of the quantities, and that they're doing themselves a major injustice by not selling enough?
This is the same thing that happens in the limited run editions of games. If you can ensure that you're going to sell out a certain run, then that's good for your bottom line. And that's what they do.
And I guess that it's obviously it's a very difficult balancing act, because you don't want to end up with a lot of unsold stock. We've seen in the past the fire sales that actually saw, for example, some of the Hornby items, and even Bachmann items in the past, being sold by big box shifters at less than what some of the local model shops had paid wholesale for them just a couple of months previously.
Yeah.
So it is a balancing act that, with hindsight, it's very easy to say, yes, they should have made twice as many of those Bluebells, or the original Southeastern and Chatham Railway. C-Class is number 592, that they should have made twice as many of those. But it's very easy to get it wrong, and then you end up with a situation where, for example, the Hornby J50 as departmental number 14 is still out there, still being a shelf queen and struggling to sell. And you could argue that, how do you know whether a locomotive is going to be a major seller? And there's one of the things that I did actually talk to Hattons about. I think it's in one of the videos that we did where we visited Hattons and chatted with them, that they said that there was no way of knowing that the things like the CPC, Andrew Barclay, or the certainly the Austerity Grey P-Class were going to be super strong sellers, because there was really nothing to base it on. That was the second ever locomotive to ever be released in that livery, and the first one had been the N-Class a good long time earlier as a special from Bachmann as part of a 2-loco set. And it was just impossible to know. And when it arrived, it actually took them by surprise. And you could argue that it could have ended up going the other way, and it being the one that nobody wanted. There was no way of telling.
It's just the way you were saying that no one would have believed X, Y, and Z. Like, I heard that in the voice of the start of the War of the Worlds.
No one would have believed that in the last years of the 2010s that these locomotives would be very well selling.
Yeah. New Western Grove says, it's good that the Acura scale Deltic is hard to stall because I'm waiting for new track to replace some old rusty Hornby points. I'll be honest, the Hornby points are so well worth replacing them.
Okay, so Mick Tag says, good evening, birthday, so late joining.
Yeah.
Well, as Gandalf would say,
A Monday clubber is never late, Frodo Baggins, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
happy birthday to you, squash
you
tomatoes
live in the
and
zoo.
stew.
You
Red
look
butter
like
in
a
the
monkey.
gutter.
I smell
Happy
like one
birthday
too.
to you.
PVA J Cloth, Alan Reynolds says, good evening, Jenny and Zoe. Whoops, sorry I am late. I've been busy up in the loft. Regards, PVA J Cloth, Alan. And Mel said, Jenny and Zoe, here in Australia, Hornby and Model Empire is on TV every Sunday night. Now, there is some news on that front, and there is going to be a Series 2. And somebody could be being involved. I don't know yet, actually. I've got to have a Zoom call with them.
Yeah, they might not want you back when they find out what you want to do.
So it's still early days, but yes, they have been commissioned for Series 2. It's been incredibly successful.
I still say your best bet is to pitch running a model of the Channel Tunnel in a fish tank.
I don't think so. No. Model trains in water.
No.
That got a bad rap because of somebody in his paddling pool.
You're not listening. You build the Channel Tunnel in the base of the tank. You then put a bit of the ground above it into the tank. You then waterproof an entire layer and hide it with more ground, and then you put the water in.
No. Stevie Film says...
Well, it's good that you thought about it for a microsecond.
Will you shut up so I can read this out before it disappears off the top? Jenny, what
Sorry,
are your thoughts?
was there something that you wanted to read out? Oh, no!
Jenny, what are your thoughts on manufacturers producing limited runs with numbered certificates like Rapido and their APT key, and then a few years later having another production run producing more? Now, I personally don't agree with the numbered certificates and selling something as being like never to be repeated. I think it opens up a whole lot of problems, which we do start to see when there is huge demand for an item. I have no qualms against, say, Bachmann just doing another run of the C-Class as 592, or Hattons doing another run of Bluebell. It doesn't bother me because I don't buy model railways as an investment. I buy them to enjoy them, and I think most people are the same. And if you can get an item for a much more reasonable price and you're not playing into the hands of speculators
and scalpers,
then I think it can only be a good thing for the hobby. There have been special runs of things with certificates, and yeah, they can be quite nice, but I think a lot of people, not everybody, I think quite a few people just like the fact that they get the model that they really, really want. But anybody who buys these to make a profit, you'll never get rich. The only people who will get rich, and even then it's not mega money, will be the retailers selling them in the first instance.
And of course the manufacturers.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, if they weren't making money, they wouldn't be in the business. And we've got to accept that.
Big hello to Mick Tag. Great to see you. And Anthony Hayward as well says, hi Jenny, good to meet you at Ali Pally. Talks about doing a USA layout. Yes, I do remember that. And that brings in nicely to our Desert Plants Scenorama, one of the products that Bachman stock and distribute, which you may not be aware of, and it's possibly one of the good things that might come out of the new retail shop in Hinckley.
It'd be interesting if it does.
Yeah, so we are just guessing here. We don't know. Haven't spoken to Bachman on the matter. It does have to be said. But yeah, just see how things go. Ben Tullett says there is someone on YouTube who makes his Lego trains run around the house and garden and sometimes runs it through an underwater tunnel in his pool, not in the UK. Yeah, I have seen those. It's good fun, actually.
I like the idea.
So yeah, right. Do we have any videos sent in? Because we're coming up on 8:30.
H. Walker Heritage Barrowbed says it's a very bad idea to run double gauge locos, basically accident waiting to happen. I'm assuming there's something missing from that statement. Bad idea to run double gauge locomotives, basically an accident waiting to happen. Run them where?
In water, maybe. But
yeah.
J94 says, I wouldn't mind Bachman doing another run of 5775 in that great north of the Great Northern and Southern Railway livery with the Railway Children set. They did actually hang around for quite some time. I do have one up there. And yeah, they do really look nice. Egg Rider says the DCC Concepts US outline switchback layout with ABC shuttling and a passing loop is worth seeing at Ali Pally. Absolutely. That was also at Glasgow, and we did get some video footage of it at Glasgow. So if you watch the Glasgow videos that we put out, you'll be able to see it in action there. And certainly it is mesmerising to watch. Simon Trains Model Railway Showcase says, I've been on Discord for a year-ish. I was suggested to me by Jenny on Rails during a Twitter discussion between her, myself and Paul Whitewick. Yeah, a lot of people talking about Discord. We do now have our own Discord thing.
We do.
I don't understand anything about it.
It's IRC, Jen.
Yeah, don't ask me. I mean, I barely understood IRC back in the day. I like Newsnet, news groups.
Okay, the Monday Club Discord is basically the same as being in the chat on the Monday Club.
Oh, right, okay.
Only it's 24 hours a day.
Fair enough. Can you smell burning? It's got a whiff of
I can't.
Charring wood.
No, I can't.
Yeah, I can.
I will check the stuff going on outside. I'll just check.
No. I'm just worried that something's overheated in here.
I can't smell it, Jen.
You know when plywood gets charred, like when you're soldering and you manage to get a big blob of solder on the plywood and it sits there and festers.
Nothing outside.
Well, it's called a whiff. But
then again, so did I.
Yeah, you got it as well.
Yeah. Okay. What have you been doing?
Nothing.
What mods have you done this week?
I haven't done it, but I have turned the Extractor fan off because it used to be into Massey Ferguson, but they kind of fell out with them.
Yeah.
Extractor fan. No, it's not coming from the Extractor fan, I don't think. It's just weird, but one of the things that we do get up here is because for best part of 100 years, this was just a completely open space, straight to the underside of the tiles. It did get a lot of sort of like smoky smells from the smoke from the chimney having probably percolated through here. And
percolated? Wow, that's a long word.
Yeah, it is. And that has proven very difficult to shift. But not in a bad way. It doesn't smell nasty. It just smells like a sort of a very faint whiff of a nice coal fire. It's probably in keeping with...
A faint whiff. It's a bit whiffy.
Yeah, a faint whiff. Everybody likes a faint whiff. Just check the box, the power box. Is it really hot? Is it?
Yeah, it's a bit warm.
James Pett says that definitely deserved the trombone of doom. And Ben Tullett says, Laurie, bring Jupiter the fire engine. Jenny needs it. Kevicus first says, dust in the motor. Could be. Valley's 56XX says, you do have a CO2 extinguisher. Yes, but not up here. maybe I should put an extinguisher.
You should have an extinguisher up here. I'm surprised you don't.
I just got another whiff again. A really strong, very brief, really strong whiff.
Okay, in that case, what do you want to do? Like, check underneath the boards? Please check underneath the boards. I don't see anything.
No, I don't smell anything down here as well.
Okay, well that's good. That's good news.
And there, I got another whiff.
Okay.
But it's like there's like a little bubble of smell just going around.
A bubble of smell.
Yeah.
You make it sound so pleasant.
Yeah.
Oh dear. It's Jenny and her bubble of smells.
It's very strange.
Yeah. If we set on fire during the stream, that will certainly become a clip that will be shared around.
Yeah, it'd be like there's a clip on YouTube of some gamer in Japan setting fire to his room whilst...
Oh my goodness, yeah, because he was an idiot.
Yes.
And I can say that because
Stevie
it's true.
Film suggests shut down the layout, go check downstairs. Actually, would you go and check downstairs once you get the first video up?
Yes. I love Jenny's priorities here. Well, once you've got the first video up, I mean, the house can burn for a little bit.
Russell Benton says, I have an extinguisher in loft. You really should have one. You're absolutely right, to be honest.
I'm actually shocked you don't, Jan.
I put it in the kitchen. I thought the kitchen, given your track record on setting fire to microwaves...
I only did that once. I've never lived it down. She won't let me live it down. It's not fair, guys. It's not fair.
Yeah, actually a smoke alarm up here probably wouldn't be a bad idea as well.
Yes. It's alarming that you don't have one.
Mark Wilson asks, did you see Les under the layout? He's down. Look, not now, Les. No, just you stay there. If you see anything burning, do let us know.
Yeah. Don't come out. Just let us know.
Dongit's Mother Row says, sniff each running train.
It's a good point.
No, that would be like plasticky smell. Apparently, Anfield Road layout in the loft says Discord is not working.
It is.
Kevicus first suggests though someone having a fire outdoors could be.
Yes, it could be someone having a fire.
Laura, big hello to you. Good evening to you. Don't forget, everybody, tickle that like button, share the stream, and also, if you haven't already done so, do please consider subscribing too. Ruben Ashwell says, hope you haven't burnt any toast. And Russell Benton says, yeah, I got one for the kitchen too. Well, the kitchen is where you're most likely to set fire to stuff. And Simon the Railway Enthusiast 83 says, Billy's replacement microwaves. Yes, we did have to have it. I had a phone call. I was at work. And Zoe's phone calls always fill me with dread when they start with, I don't want you to worry, but... And she says, but I've set fire to the microwave. But it's okay because I threw it out the back door. And I came home to a slightly plasticky smell in the kitchen. A space where the microwave formerly resided, and I opened the back door and there was a microwave out in the garden.
I didn't burn the house down, so you should give me some credit.
And in fairness, the microwave still actually worked when you tentatively plugged it in, but it was a bit charred.
Yes.
But I have to say, I don't want you to worry, but it was a little bit of an overused phrase by you on the phone, because I remember the call. I don't want you to worry, but I'm in A&E was one that. Oh,
I am going to go and check.
But it's like.
In the meantime, here is Richard Swiderski with the Royal Scotted Sandbach in Cheshire.
Sandbach.
Sandbach. It says Bach. Press the button. Press and see buttons.
Okay, there we go.
Here we go.
So be quick, because it's only a short one.
Yeah, well, if it is, you press the buttons and keep going. You know what to do.
Light engine and support coach from Keighley and Worth Valley Railway to Crewe HS. Ooh. Oh, that actually works quite well in the sepia tint.
That's nice.
Yeah. Extreme slow-mo! So, you've done alright there, actually, capturing that. So, thank you so much. So, I'm just going to go back, and then I'm going to just give me a moment. So, I've got to fly solo here, so do bear with me. And let's have a look. So, thank you so much for sending that in. Why? Huh. I've lost all of... Right, so I'm going to... just because I can find them here. So, right, so we've got some photos, I believe, from Mark Wilson. So, oh my word. So, long-time contributor, Mark Wilson. You might remember some of these amazing pictures. That is a model. Can I just say, that is a model. But look at that, even the lighting is perfect. So we've got class 50s there. I do like your prime movers sat out there. They actually work really well, so well painted, and you can see in this that the it's the junk that really made it, and the fine detail. Well, I say junk, you know, the fine details in there. I would love to see this in the flesh, because that is one of the most incredible models that I have ever seen. And there's more. So there we go. We've got again class 50s. Not quite sure what this is. Is that a crane or something? That's going to bother me if I can't work out what that is. But look at this detail. You see here, the attention to detail is incredible. And all this stuff in the background, so amazing. And oh, we finally get to see the edge of the model here. This is something that I've been wondering about for ages. I would love to see this in the context of, you know, pulled back to see the model and its surroundings when you do these photo shoots. But certainly this is amazing. And I love there the silhouette and outline through what would be the windows up there. So good. Mostly class 50s, but we've got, looks to be a 47 there as well. Any sign of anything?
It's all fine.
Alright, so you've had some kind of a superhero incident, it would seem.
Yes.
Look at these pictures.
Do I have to?
Laura says it's a 75-ton crane. Absolutely brilliant. Russell Benton says, really, you'd be hard-pressed to know that as a model. Absolutely. Yes. Just an incredible level of detail.
Without seeing the edge of that thing, you would not know it was a model.
There, oh, you can see there's the crane. Definitely. This is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So much detail here. And the light is perfect. The weathering is perfect.
I'm Batman.
Yeah, no. Rule 1 model railways should never want to make you give up, because these, I look at them and I like to take inspiration. So
I look at stuff like this and I don't want to give up. I think if I practiced, I could do that. That's the way I see it.
Definitely.
James Petts approves of our house not being on fire.
So do I.
So do I.
And there's the edge of the model again.
Yeah.
This is when you build models as well. It's always really interesting to see where the model ends and see how people have done it.
Yeah.
But look at this depth of detail. There's a lot of stuff from West Hill Wagon Works there. So
yeah.
A big shout out to West Hill Wagon Works for a great range of detailing products. And we will be featuring some of their products. Got some Hunt couplings here. Very kindly they gave me a set of these at Alexandra Palace. And these are for N gauge, but also fit 009. And they're amazing. You'll never use the regular 009 couplings again once you've tried these out.
That's actually quite strong words from you.
Again, look at that detail. I love this power plant here.
It does look rather good.
All that detail picked out on it. And this is 00. This isn't like O gauge or gauge 1 or anything. This is 00. Now
I have to ask him, when he's weathering, what size brush does he use to get that level of detail?
I'm guessing he might use a variety. And James Pett's absolutely right. The lighting is just perfect.
Yes.
I've
checked.
I keep getting that whiff of like charring plywood.
I've checked.
It's very, very strange. So there's Class 8, Class 50, Class 47. And so again, West Hill Wagon Works, these wheel sets. I mean, you look at this, look at the detail in that little notice board there.
Yeah.
Really is incredible.
It's always a pleasure to see these.
Absolutely. And like, look at the detail with his roof trusses and everything.
With his roof toots.
Do
the Monday Club know about the roof toot?
Mark Wilson says, thanks all, much appreciated comments. You're absolutely welcome. This is amazing modelling. I would love to see this. Do you actually take it to shows? Because I'd love to see this in the flesh.
Now, for those of you who don't know, Jenny, when she was building Weir Yard, not Weir Yard, this is Weir Yard, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Jenny, when she was building Weir Yard, have you come off the... Yes, yeah. Well, she decided that the best thing to do to get an internet connection was to drill a hole into my office, the roof in my office, and then put a wire down to get the cable. I have no idea what that is, Jen. Someone sent us what appears to be a part of a locomotive in photo form.
Yeah, so we've got one here from Phil Metcalf. I'll show it on screen. I'm not entirely sure what it is, so I'll bring this up. And we've been sent this by Phil Metcalf. I'm guessing it's a 3D printed item, but not entirely sure what that is. So if they're able just to drop us a line, just let us know what we're looking at.
Yes.
Because there's no text with that.
So when she drilled this hole and put the the Ethernet cable down to connect to the router, what it turned out was every time I closed my office door, or she opened or closed the loft hatch, it caused an air differential that would blow dust into my office, which we called the roof toot.
Yeah, roofy toot,
Roofy toot,
roofy toot, roofy toot. Big hello to Alex Dent. Says, good evening, everything's going well at the Modern Image, and I promised to send you pictures via email. Oh, brilliant, looking forward to
Fantastic.
that.
What's going on here?
What?
Just click on skip ad. Everything's slowed down. Right, let me use this again, because you're not good at this stuff, are you? You kind of suck a bit.
Ruben Ashwell says the camera is a bit shaky. Which camera?
Oh!
Are you knocking something?
No, but this will be.
Oh.
Yes, the fan will be blowing things.
Oh, interesting.
So we've got another one from Richard Swiderski.
GWR Cluncastle 7029 or 7029 passes Beeston Signal Box in Cheshire on the 26th of March 2022.
So if you were to
with the Chester Venturer. So if you want to hit play,
leap, there you go.
And there we go.
Oh, look at the way the water's moving. That looks real.
Hold on. Don't you're pulling my finger off. Just sit back and take it. You know you need to. Look, just come on, take your medicine.
Stop it! Don't make me jump backwards and fall down the hole.
Well, don't jump backwards then.
Here's the train. Look, that looks real.
There we go.
How real does that look? My goodness.
It wasn't funny the first time.
Yes, but if I keep saying it, you might laugh.
No, we'll not. Really
needs a bit of
nice
animation on that person, though.
And you see actually how long these trains are that.
There's the animation. We must have been in the wrong part of the animation cycle.
And then we get some stills from that. Really, really nice to see. Still got semaphore signals as well, you can see there.
Hmm.
And they've done a bit of pruning on the embankment, which means you get a really good shot. That's a fairly recently replaced bridge as well.
Look at those ruins in the background, look like Stonehenge.
Make you look like Stonehenge in a minute.
This whole system looks like Stonehenge.
So thank you so much for sending that in. Krista Duke says TARDIS still on the flatbed.
Yeah, we haven't moved it.
As well. Ooh. Ooh. So,
oh, that's why everything was slowing down. You left all the videos open.
Did I? Oh,
yeah, you suck.
Oh, well, you blow and suck as well. James Pett says it was funny the first time. Yeah, but that was a long time ago. And yeah, Simon Train's Model Railway Showcase Castle Class, they are amazing locos.
Excuse me.
Oh, interesting. Warbler Production says first coach on that train is the water carrier that vintage trains have made to extend the range of the locos. That's very well hidden. And Andy Brooks says very good video. One of our Jenny Monday Club channel members. Thank you so much. And Valley's56XX, also a Jenny membership member, says that pruning looks real. Flymo Chairman 1, also one of our Jenny Monday Club members, as well as one of the mods, says think of Doctor Who theme here. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share, folks. Absolutely. So,
okay, next
what do we have next?
We have a set of photographs.
Okay. Ooh.
If you want to bring them up on screen.
Okay, bring them up on screen now.
So, Stephen Horace Green says, not sure if you'll get this on stream tonight. We did.
We did.
I've mentioned a few times that we're planning on upgrading the Hillchester layout at Rail World.
Alright.
Well, rather than draw some pictures of what's planned, I've animated it. It's still a work in progress. I'll have a video out in the next week, hopefully, of the design. Cool. So what I've got at the moment, I assume this is what they're changing. But this looks rather... Whoa, look how close you can get in all the detail. What quality camera have you used? This is amazing.
That is good.
I've got to zoom as far in as I can.
Look at the hot air balloon. I like that. And like the track on...
all the town detail.
Yeah, the track on different levels. That really works well. Oh, yeah. Oh, that is nice with the tunnels. Oh, you gotta love a tunnel.
And a wind tunnel. Yes, and
does it
look
say
at that
what
bridge.
Scale it is? Is that N or double O?
Can't quite see at the back.
Certainly a lot in there.
Yeah.
I love the hot air balloon. Look at that. Just curious, what are you using to keep your hot air balloon up?
I bet
Don't just say hot air.
I bet it's a string.
Yeah, because we've got an Airfix. Actually, no, it's not an Airfix one. It's what was it? The
Revell. Oh, here
Revell
we are.
Spitfire.
This is the design.
Oh, it's nice that it's been put into like a large background as well.
Oh wow.
So we've got basically a junction station on 2 levels.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on here.
Yes, there is.
Really, really nice.
How have you designed that? What program is this?
I don't know, but that is really
nice.
It's not Train Sim or something.
It'll be a train simulator, yeah, look.
Oh, wow.
That is a cool way of doing it.
They've moved on a lot since the original
That is a cool way of doing it. Whoa, here we are. This is the
other
village
Oh,
area.
I like that. Oh, look at the amount of tracks. 1, 2, well, I was counting them, but you
Sorry. Go on.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that 6? 6 tunnels on 2 different levels. That is nice.
But what's interesting is that balloon appears to have moved.
Oh, I wonder if it's on like a track, so it moves.
It could
around.
be this track here.
Yeah. Oh, that is a good effect.
That is smart.
Yeah, I like that. Are you sure it's moved? It's not just another one. No, it has moved.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
That is very cool.
SHGP Media says that's Transport Fever 2.
Right, I don't know that one.
And also there is an 009 section as well. Ooh. It's fantastic. And Map the Dragon Railway is fantastic as well.
Oh, and here's another version of it, and I assume this is still the game, which looks like a very nicely done game.
I like the game. What is it called? Transport Fever 2. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, look at that's
I
amazing.
like this. This is not. You could make a representation of whole towns and stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or you could give people a copy of We Are Yard.
Laura says, "Oh, I know the hot air balloon is held aloft by the power of Boris Johnson's speeches." Oh dear. Oh, interesting. SHGP Media says the balloon is fixed.
Really, it must just be a trick of where the angles
Must be a trick
were.
of the angles.
Clever.
That is really
Thank you
good.
very much for sending that in.
So thank you so much. Oh, you had already pressed the magic button.
Yeah.
Press the magic button.
Yes,
live by
you
the
do.
trains. This is just like. Does anybody else look at this and see that somebody basically bought a child's toy from a charity shop and deprived a child of all the fun and magic? Can you not pose him in some?
No,
really
it's not a child's toy. It's a statue. It's a posable statue. Stop! Don't break Batman's neck.
I'm Batman.
Don't break my Batman.
Oh no, his head fell off.
No. So next up, we've got another photo from Tim's model railway in different videos.
Ooh yeah.
Jen, what are you doing?
Trying to be suggestive, but it's not working. Right, I'm gonna put him down there, out the way.
What is this, Jen?
Oh, this is the Railway Children's set that was talked about before. I've actually got one full set, plus I've got additional coaches from a second.
Excuse me, I'm just having to blow my nose there.
Well, I haven't got... There, another whiff. A sudden whiff.
Then it must be coming in from outside.
Must be. If there was something burning in here, we'd smell it all the time. It would just become quite acrid.
So what is this?
It's the Railway Children's set. So you've got the Great Northern and Southern Railway livery pannier locomotive plus the two coaches plus Oakworth Station building. Now this was a tie-in with the anniversary of the original Railway Children film that was filmed on the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway and actually used a repainted pannier tank to represent the particular locomotive. So Wagons produced a set using their own model of the coaches and the pannier tank in the appropriate livery.
Right,
and
so
certainly
it's
at the
as
time,
close as you can get to the actual film one.
and certainly we actually saw the original locomotive painted in that livery at Shildon.
We did, yes.
So there is a video that features that.
Yeah.
And a substantially thinner version of us.
Yes, when I was half the woman I am now.
Yeah, literally, yes. SHGP Media says, I'm putting together a video of the new design. Hope to have it done by the weekend. Looking forward to seeing that. Andy Brooks, one of our Jenny Monday Club channel members, says, I love that Railway Children's set.
Kirk first says, sell that Batman and get some action, man. That is a good one. Okay, I'm going to try and find a video now to finish us off because we're coming close to the end of the show. We will keep all the ones that have been sent in that we haven't got to so far. Don't worry.
Blooming heck.
Yeah, we are.
And also, Laura says, by the way, Jennifer, I've been on, it says HTR, I think that's HRT, for 9 months now. Oh, brilliant. I hope all is going well for you. So brilliant. Really, really pleased for you, definitely. David, it's my model railway, says, are you in a semi or terraced house? Oh, it's actually end of terrace.
Don't tell people where we are.
Well, we're at the end of the terrace. Didn't tell them where the terrace was. But it is an interesting point, actually. Maybe it's not us, maybe it's next door. Did you poke your head out the window, make sure next door's not on fire?
I'm not sticking my head out the window. It's daytime, I'll melt.
Valleys56XX says, can people just send me the Jenny Agatha figure, please? Thanking you, Tar. I don't think it came with a figure, did it? I don't remember seeing one, but still haven't taken the Oakworth station out. And Belmont Junction says, hi Jenny, can we have a little running session at the end of the stream? We might have a few minutes, but I do have to go to bed. I'm supposed to be up first thing in the morning. But Belmont Junction is one of our Jenny Monday Club channel membership, and they're making full use of the JK
Thank you so much.
icons. That is one of the exclusive...
There will be more icons coming.
Yeah, we need to get a Gandalf one.
Yes.
Is this playing?
So this one is from Warbler Productions.
Oh, right, okay.
Here we go.
So, waiting for a steam train.
So we've got a bit of text to go with it. Okay, this is a short video of XGWR 7029 Cluncastle passing through Atherstone Station on Saturday on its way to Chester, hauling the vintage train set.
So this is the same train that we saw in that last video, but taken by somebody else at a different location en route. So I'm really quite interested. Apparently, the coach that's straight behind the locomotive contains an additional water tank.
Yes, he says the video's only of the outbound journey, but shows that Tilsley had put their water carrier coach directly behind Clone Castle to reduce the need for water stops during the long run.
I know, it's probably a good idea.
That is actually a really good idea, yeah.
And also...
He says, please turn the sound on. The whistle sounds gorgeous.
Oh,
okay. In that case, I will turn the sound on. Now you get to see all the weird things that Jenny watches. Right,
not too
we're
loud,
halfway.
Otherwise we'll need Billy's...
replay.
Okay.
Here we go. Hopefully it's not a Billy's replacement speakers.
Billy's Replacement Speakers presents...
So, here we go. And I'm just going to... Oh, and someone just said, was it Rule 1 Model Railways just said, I was on that. Well, you should have waved.
It's a small world, isn't it?
It really is. Especially if it's double O gauge or Z gauge.
Thank you so much, right? Okay, don't forget to turn the sound off for the next one. Right, so we're coming to the end of the stream, so we're going to do a little bit of just watching the trains go by as we leave you. But it's been really, really great having you company. Laura says incoming Doppler effect. Billy's replacement Doppler effect.
And just as a reminder, all the ones that we didn't get to, we will show first thing next time.
Absolutely. David Scott says the water carrier is a Gov lookalike. I suspect it's built inside an actual Gov. And Joe Smith points out that Transport Fever 2 is currently half price on Steam.
Is it half price if you want to do diesels? Jen had to think about that one. She's not really entirely awake.
I need to go to bed, so we're not going to spend too long at the end of the stream. But look, it's been really great having you company.
It really has.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Don't forget to tickle that like button, share the stream, and also subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so. We will be back next Monday. I'm going to try and sort out a special guest. If not next Monday, then the week after. I do have somebody that I've been trying to line up for a while.
Is it Gandalf?
No, Gandalf is always here. He somehow knows how to chivvy the that window at the back and get in.
To be honest with you, he is the master wizard.
Oh dear. But anyway, look, it's been great having your company. Thanks again to everybody, and also to all the generous people who donated on the Super Chat, and those who have joined and become a channel member. We couldn't do this without your support. So in the meantime, this coming week, look forward to a full review video on the new Rapido wagon releases. We've got a review that follows the 5-plank, the 7-plank, and the gunpowder wagons. Don't forget as well, as we mentioned, that Enwin's Models is a Rapido stockist and does actually have the gunpowder wagon still in Great Western Railway livery, or at least did at the start of the stream. Can't guarantee that somebody hasn't snaffled that. I'm really, really looking forward to the announced Jones goods. We've also had announcements in the last week or so from Daypol of the Hawthorne Leslie. Really looking forward to that dinky little locomotive. And then we've also had an announcement from Pico owning up to the fact that there's an issue with the packaging with Small England, but they will be doing their utmost to put that right for people. So it's always really great when a manufacturer does own up to there being a problem and works to put it right.
Yeah, sometimes things are going to happen.
Absolutely.
So if you come out and say, look, yeah, there's an issue, we're working to fix it, then fair dues.
Absolutely. But look, until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk, and the Cupboard Monkey.
Hello.
With an assortment of trombones, clown horns, and Gandalf. Not to mention Batman.
I'm Batman.
Yeah.
I'm Batman.
Yeah, okay.
I'm Batman.
Okay, and as Richard's Adventure says, keep on training. So until next time, do take great care. Oh, we've also got the O-Gauge, the award-winning O-Gauge Hellion AEC rail car is in for review for Friday as well. But until next time, it's me
Batman.
saying, no, where's my stick of doom? Batman will not protect you.
Oh, that's my knee.
Exactly. See, Batman didn't help you there. But until next time, you take great care of yourself. Bye for now.
The train now departing is the 2100 service to Gotham City.
What?
Stopping at Mineth Tatis, Grove Street
Oh, that's
Yard,
alright. That's my stuff.
Bolton Trinity Road, Eindhoven, and then on to Gotham City. That's the 2100 service to Gotham City. If you go up to the loft today, you're sure of a big surprise. If you go up to the loft today, you'll never believe your eyes. For every train there ever was has gathered there together, because today's the day that Jenny does the Monday Club. Good night.